Welcome to a look at the core values and principles of public health. There are several different key values that really define what public health is and what its goals are. And a couple of those include health equity and social justice. What I've tried to do here is find some websites that really help you to kind of delve into what exactly is health equity and what is social justice. And so if you were to go to these particular sites, what you would see is from an agency that considers itself to be an expert in health equity, the Health Equity Institute. How does health equity define itself? And so the same thing is true here of kind of what is social justice. And so social justice by many seems to be a kind of like overarching and include health equity, and so just to see the relationship between those two. There are a couple of very good references in terms of what exactly is defined as social justice down here below. So go ahead and look through this information quickly and just get yourself a sense of what that would be. Next, the social ecological model is really one of the kind of frameworks that we like to use in public health in terms of thinking about a health issue. So if you were to just Google social ecological model, you would find dozens, if not hundreds, of graphics that are something like this. And I liked this particular one. It does come from the CDC. And basically it highlights the idea that no man is an island. Here we have an individual, and they are really within the relationships that they have really influence that particular individual on all levels, especially the health of that individual. And then that individual with their close family relationships really reside, they exist within a larger community, and the community, the elements of that community impact the individual. And then even on a larger societal level, maybe the policies that society has or the way that it enforces its laws impact the community and the relationships and that individual ultimately. And so when we talk about going upstream, if you ever hear the term going upstream, that's really what we're talking about, is identifying issues that are really on a higher level of relevance to that individual. By the time you get to the individual, a lot of choices, a lot of elements that influence the health of that individual have already been made, and the individual themselves often can't make those choices on their own. And so go ahead and think about these particular levels in terms of how public health achieves what it does. Another one has a graphic that I like probably even better, here where we start with the individual, those relationship levels on an organizational or a community or a policy level. And so this one really shows what kinds of things will impact that individual, even their work site or the media or healthy people goals that are maybe our national public health agencies ascribe to. And so this gives even more detail to that particular model in terms of what falls on the different levels. What you'll notice is that people will use the term social ecological model, and the levels aren't always the same. The last graphic had 4 levels, this one has 5. Sometimes they're not always in exactly the same order. It depends on the perspective of the person who's writing that, and if you just Google social ecological model, there will be hundreds of graphics that you can look at to get that general idea. But the idea of going upstream, that policy ultimately impacts the individual, and that's a powerful way of making change in a community and for an individual, that really is what the social ecological model is all about.